Hi, I'm Tiffany, and today I'm going to be talking about nonverbal communication, more specifically, the different kinds of nonverbal communication, like oculescence, vocalics, kinesics, proxemics, chronemics, and haptics. So, what's the first thing you notice when speaking to someone? Their eyes. The study of eye movement, eye behavior, and gaze is also known as oculescence. What can eye behavior tell you about the credibility of a speaker? If someone looks up when they're talking to you, according to studies, it can tell you that a person is thinking about something or trying to recall information. Well, it could simply mean that I'm bored. I'm pretty sure if you have children, as a parent, we all know that look. Once upon a time, when we were children and mischievous, our parents always seemed to know what we did wrong. It was all in the eyes. We would avoid eye contact, and usually that told of our guilt. Not all the time looking down can be negative. In some cultures, looking down is a sign of respect. Now, what other ways are there to look? For example, if you look left, you're trying to remember a sensation. If you look right, you're imagining this sensation. How about side to side? It could say you're lying. Blinking obsessively can be a sign of stress. Even sexual desire can be seen by the dilation of the pupil when you see something you adore. Or your eyes can simply be adjusting to the light of a room. The eyes can also communicate other emotions. If I'm glaring at you, that may tell you that I'm angry. And when I'm happy, I have that spark in my eye. It puts that sincere Deutschen smile on my face. Speaking of sincerity, how do we know when or if someone is being sincere? Maybe by listening to their vocalics or paralanguage. In the study of paralanguage invented by George L. Traeger in 1950s, it studied the nonverbal aspects of voice such as pitch, rate, volume, and the use of silence. It also applies to writing as well as sign language. For example, if a friend asks, "How are you today?" your answer should be, "Oh, I'm doing great." Or you can answer like this: "I'm doing great." Your intonations may give your true feelings away if you're trying to hide them. Vocalics also play a key role in the technological communications today. In emails, instant messengers, and as well as our texts, emotions are shown with emoticons. Vocalics can be seen in gestures like sighing or gasp. It indicates surprise. Kinemics, the study of human movement, gestures, and posture, was first used by anthropologist Ray Birdwhistell in 1952. He argued that all movement have some kind of meaning. Some are done unintentionally. For example, a myoclonic jerk, which is when you're falling asleep and your body makes a sudden jerking movement. It lets me know that your body is falling into a deep sleep. Or movements can be done intentionally and used as a sign of deception. Dr. Paul Ekman and Wallace Friesen identified 5 different categories. The first one, emblems, a nonverbal cue that may substitute for a word or a phrase. Illustrators, a nonverbal behavior that accompanies a verbal message. Affect displays, a nonverbal behavior that communicates emotions and attitudes. Regulators, a nonverbal behavior that helps the flow and the pace of interpersonal communication. And last but not least, adapters, a nonverbal behavior that helps satisfy a person's need to adapt or to respond to immediate situation. So what kinemic movement tells me that I'm standing absolutely too close to you? Yes, moving slightly away from me and even turning away. The study of proxemics is how close or far away people or objects we position ourselves. It was pioneered by anthropologist Edward T. Hall. It can also tell you about a person's self-confidence, and the more you like someone, of course, the closer you're going to stand to them. Territoriality, it often shows ownership in a given space. We place things or do things to let people know you're in our territory. In leisurely settings, our body language is often very lax. Compared to being in a formal or work setting, we're very rigid. Often with proxemics, you hear about chronemics, which is a study of use of time, the way one perceives, values, structures, and reacts to a time frame. Punctuality, or being on time, can tell me a few things about a person without saying one word. For instance, you can be counted on, you value someone's time as well as your own time, and you're adaptable. The final and most powerful form of nonverbal communications is haptics, or touch. Also the most misunderstood, and it carries the potential for the most problems. Intimate human contact is vital to a person's development, well-being, and personal health. A person's touch ethic is a person's own guidelines or standards for appropriate and inappropriate touch. The amount of touch we need, it depends on our cultural background. Also, where you touch someone can be considered rude. For example, in Thai culture, touching someone's head can be considered very rude. The earliest sense to develop in a fetus is touch. For example, the Harry Harlow rhesus monkey experiment with the terry cloth mother and the wire mother. We've all heard of that experiment. The baby rhesus monkey fared better in life with the terry cloth mother. We can see why nonverbal communication is 93% of our communication, but often not talked about, with the 6 different categories of nonverbal speech, which are oculescence, vocalics, kinesics, prosemics, chronemics, and haptics. Thank you for listening and have a good day.